Oh man, what a day. What a day. I'm getting busier and busier and busier. And that's a good thing. Um Dropped my phone in the toilet today. Yeah, I did that. That sucks. I mean, I was getting a new phone. I was eligible for an upgrade anyway. It was horrible. It was like to the point where when your phone gets weird and like it only works with headphones and it's annoying. People call you and you're like, whoa, 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 hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. But like they can't hear you say that and then they hang up and then you have to text them, hold on, I'm like looking for headphones. Then you miss them and it's just annoying. So I'm getting a new one anyway. But that really, I'm like one of those people that doesn't back up anything ever. Like I don't use my iTunes to back up my phone, and yeah, so I don't know. It's always shitty new phone, and you got to get acclimated to that. But I got that going on, and I'm really busy with all sorts of stuff, all sorts of other projects. Um, I guess one thing that I can say now is so I've been working on truckers too for a while, and we're going to release Truckers 1 the next week or two. And there's been legal stuff with that. It's always legal shit. I hate that. But all attorneys are paranoid and they're all greedy. No matter how nice they are, they're greedy. Any attorney I've ever had, especially when it comes to like contracts, entertainment stuff, they'll say stuff like, "Well, um, I don't think you should put this part. What? Well, why not? Oh, well, this doesn't fuck him over enough. You want to take every cent from that guy, like stuff like that." I'm like, damn, really? And I mean, I guess that's what they do. Their job is to give you advice and to take advantage of people. That's what attorneys do. I don't like that. I mean, I don't think that's good juju. You don't really get anywhere in life when you go around fucking people over. I used to do that, and I've been to prison 3 times, and that sucks. And then you don't feel good about yourself, and then you have this karmic deficit, and that's why I try to do things to help other people. You know, and then I feel better, and feeling better makes it so that you don't have to be on drugs. Because when I don't feel good, I do drugs. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, I'm not a 12-step guy. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but for me, it's mind, body, and spirit. It's creativity, it's fitness, it's helping other people, and it's meditation. But meditation for me is writing, it's painting, working out, and that's meditation to me. And then helping others. That has to do with my higher power. I mean, I was pretty much atheistic most of my life, and now I'm agnostic. There's a big difference between the two. I'm agnostic because I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm agnostic, but I believe in a higher power. I just don't think that man can articulate that. I think that it's spiritual intelligence and it's something that you feel intuitively. And I've developed a lot throughout the years spiritually. But with Truckers 2, so Truckers 1 is just, it's too complicated to explain. But basically, like, I had a certain guest star on there. They have a talent agency. The talent agency is like, well, we can't do this because of this. And you have to take out this part because it's a liability for this, basically because I'm saying that somebody in there is a snitch. And he really was a snitch, so I can't say that. So well, why don't you just bleep out the name? Because I mean, fuck that. Snitches should be on blast, I think. You put someone in jail, you should be out there. Right? I mean, that's fucked up. Why would you do that? He fucked my baby mama. I'm gonna give him life. No. Nope. When you're doing something illegal, you know it's illegal. And when you get caught, you take it on the chin. You don't bring other people down with you. Dude, you don't understand. I have a 27-year-old kid, bro. No way. It's like, there's no reason. There's no reason to do that, to cooperate. And so what do I do? Because I'm really happy with the celebrity guest appearances that I got on there. I really am. I'm proud of that, especially Johnny Depp doing Hunter S. Thompson. I mean, I'm a Hunter S. Thompson fucking freak. You know, when I met him, I didn't meet Hunter, but I met Johnny, and that's kind of like an avatar for Hunter. That's all we talked about was Hunter, 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 Hunter. And like you don't find people that often that have that kind of obsessive admiration. He actually got to live with the guy, you know, and it's kind of cool that I didn't get to meet. There's two people that I never got to meet: Hunter S. Thompson and Bradley Noel from Sublime. Both of those people, for different reasons, had a very, very profound effect on me as a person, for good and bad. You know, Hunter, not necessarily. It wasn't like it wasn't necessarily like a pure drug thing, and definitely not Bradley. I just really liked that music growing up. I mean, it spoke to me in a way that other music didn't. It was pretty much a soundtrack to my life. And Hunter, I read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when I was like 16 I think I was 15. I was 15 the first time I read Fear and Loathing. Up until that point, I didn't even know that they had books like that. Like, I didn't know that books could be funny, like that funny. Like, that book is fucking hilarious. If you like the movie, read the book. The book is amazing. I'm not saying the movie didn't live up to the book. I think it's one of the rare instances where it was equal. I'm not saying the book was better. I'm not saying the movie was better. There's other stuff where the movie's better. Rarely. I like Jaws, the movie, better. I think I like Fight Club, the movie, better. And I like American Psycho, the book, better. It just depends. But, all of these things I like both. But Fear and Loathing, it just had a profound effect on me, and then I got to meet him, and then I got him to do New Hunter for Drug Stories for Truckers Volume 1. And I'm like, I really want to put that out. And we've been doing Truckers too. And there's no issue with, and Johnny's management's not the one that held it, that is holding up one. It's somebody else that's on there. You'd be surprised if you knew who it was out of all those people. It's like the most random person. And they're like, nope. And I don't want to take them off of there. It's not worth it. I think that I've assembled the perfect roster for what I was trying to do. Could I have picked a better story? Yeah, I think I could have. Drug Stories for Truckers Volume 1 came out when I was going through a really hard time. I was on drugs. My Paul just died. It's fucking out of my mind. I was just telling Karina yesterday. I was like, you remember when I was recording Drug Stories for Truckers Volume 1? And she's like, oh my God, that was a nightmare. And I'm doing a series. I'm going to start a series on Patreon for the $100 tier called What Really Happened This Last Year. The whole time with the YouTube channel. Like, what was really going on? There's stuff I couldn't talk about. I was on fucking parole. I can't like be like, oh yeah, this is what I did today that was illegal. I can't do that. Even though I say that everything that I say that's illegal is not true, I'm not trying to fucking say what I'm really doing to my parole officer. I doubt that he watched it. That guy didn't even I don't even think that guy knew my name. He just saw me and he'd like call me like whatever white name. Hey, what's up, Brad? I'd be like, oh, hey man, you doing all right? Like, all right. And then like at the end, he'd be like, all right, Bob, see you later. Or see you later, man. He didn't know my name. So what I'm thinking about doing is I've been working on Truckers 2 for a while, kind of behind the scenes, not really talking about it. And the story is way better. It's my best story. It's my best material. So I think that I'm going to release Truckers 2 with the same celebrity guest appearances, because I don't want it to be, like shoveled away, just toiling in obscurity forever. I think that, Paul's on it. So I want to give him the proper dedication that he deserves. Like the last voicemail he ever left me ever is on that album. That means more to me than anything else on that album. And then I got Johnny doing the Hunter thing. So what I think I'm going to do is put those skits from Drug Stories from Volume 1 at the end of Truckers 2. Then keep Volume 1 bootleg as it is on the Payloads thing. You can just download the MP3. It's like some obscure MP3 you can download. I don't think I'll put it out on the real platforms because the legality of it is just too complicated. Now, Mike Virgin has already been approved. Volume 2 has already been approved. There's different audio recordings that have already been approved by my legal team. It's 2 people, but like my manager and my attorney, they get together and they say what you can and can't do without getting sued. Getting sued, I don't have anything. I fucking rent. What do you mean? I have like an '05 for my car. What are you going to take? My Gonzo pendant? You know? It's worth like $90. It's like the only asset I have. But I think I'm going to put those skits, not the skits from Drug Stories 1. I'm talking about, I'm going to leave that as it is. But at the end, when the guest appearances, I think I'm going to take that part and put it on volume 2. Release it on Spotify so that everybody can hear it. New skits, new story. So I've been recording a lot of stuff. I just don't talk about it because I just, last time I'm always like, yeah, I'm working on this, going to be out next week. And then it takes me forever and ever and ever and ever to actually get it done because I'm just disorganized and I'm so overwhelmed with stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'll announce it. I'll say, okay, it's the same celebrity guest appearances, same skits, because it's going to take forever to try to, get all those people to do the stuff again, even on their brief skits anyway. But it just, I think it makes the whole thing better. And then their legal team has to approve stuff. And it's a nightmare. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Volume 2, Truckers 2 is what it's called. Truckers 2. That's it. No drug story. But we're doing drugs. We're not truckers. It's just Truckers 2. Sorry for the long intro, but, it's been a busy day and I'm unwinding just at the end, so you guys can get content. And, last thing I'll say is I went into the comment section last night and, dude, I can't go in the comment section. Like the stuff people say is ridiculous. You're high. I am not high. There's videos that I've done on this channel where I am high as fuck. You should be able to tell the difference. I look horrible. If I'm broken out in acne, I'm not talking about like a zit here and there. I'm talking about braille face type shit. I'm on drugs. Don't let me tell you differently. I don't break out like that if I'm not. Some guy goes, you know how I know your shit's bullshit? But your stories are bullshit. Your Gmail account's full. Ha ha ha. That's not possible. It's like, yeah, it is. It's been full for like 2 months. I'm sure anybody that's tried to write RyanLeone313 at gmail.com knows that it's full. You get a fucking response that says that. I didn't know that's possible either. But I get inundated with shit. Mostly about trying to make my dick bigger. I don't know if other people have that. I don't know, like, if I'm on some list. I made one inquiry once, and now I'm hounded. It's too expensive. I'm not going to get the surgery. But I have paid for 2 terabytes now. I didn't even know you could do that because I was like, well, why is my shit full? What the fuck? How does that even happen? So I went in there. Now I have 2 terabytes a month. It's probably like the longest intro ever. I have no idea how long it is. I don't know. I'm looking for my phone, but it doesn't exist. Like, comment, subscribe. Patreon.com/RyanLeone. There's a lot of content on there. If you don't like this particular storyline, there's a lot more to choose from on there, not just this. We're going to get into the Prison 3 soon. Let's just get the breakdown shit over. So last time that we were in it, yes, that was a long intro, but I just felt like venting. It's like you can easily I guarantee you there's some guy that'll be like, story starts at 1746 or whatever the fuck it is. Do that. Don't bitch. Be happy. Be happy. Be happy. Last time we were talking, I got pneumonia. And part of the reason that I got that, it was walking pneumonia. It was just a confluence of stress. Things started getting really fucking bad really quick. I fired Zach. My ego had inflated to a point where I thought that I could do everything without him. I thought I didn't need him anymore. I don't need you anymore. I'm the star. I'm the talent. I started saying shit like that, weirdo. I was living in abandoned houses like a month before this. This nice guy comes, subsidizes my life financially, and I bite the hand that feeds me. That's what happens. Then I try to do this event that every single person warned me about. You're not going to be able to pull it off. You can't do it. And at that point, I was just taking shirtless pictures all the time. So if anyone would try to say something, I just rip my shirt off and start pacing, stare at them angrily. Like, you know how you can like flex your nipples? I would do shit like that. I was getting like tribal henna tattoos on my neck. I was like, do you think this is rad? And you know how Jeff is. If you've seen any videos with him, he'd just be like, uh-huh. I think that's why he's my best friend, because he's monosyllabic like that. Like, hey, bro, do you think I'm a bitch? He's like, nope. I love you, man. You're a good friend. Yes. You know, I don't know. A good guy. Like I said, find him at the farmer's market. He will be the only one barefoot there. Yes. Probably not. Actually, farmer's market, everybody's barefoot. Okay. So anyway, let's get on to what we're doing. So they told me that I had to be admitted to the hospital. And I don't remember what I had going on the next day. It's probably something that wasn't that important. I was like, no, you don't understand. You don't know what I do for a living. And they're like, what do you do for a living, sir? I was like, I'm a novelist. I'm an event planner. I'm a producer. I'm the talent of a documentary. It's like shit that I rehearsed, you know? I just like look in the mirror, make eye contact with myself, and I'd be like, producer, event planner, author. I just became that guy. You know the guy. Just definitely like not cool. And they were trying to tell me that I had to stay there. You have walking pneumonia and it can get progressively worse. And I told them that no, and I forget what happened exactly. Jeff would know better. We have footage of this. I will put this on Patreon. Every time I say this, just remind me. There's footage of this where I'm like, before I went to the hospital, I'm just like, I just didn't feel good. I had ink poisoning. It happens. I mean, I'd gotten this sleeve done. Like I already had the half sleeve, but this stuff was new. And then the guy went over like all this stuff. And, I don't know, certain people, if you get too much ink at once, you start getting sick. And I think that's what kicked it off. I think I had walking pneumonia to begin with. Now, there's a lot of theories, things are going to get really bad really quick right before I go to prison. And, I've already posted some of the videos of when I started really having the breakdown. And we're in the midst of that right now. It's just starting. But by the end, I just was going crazy. If you've seen the trailer for Idiots Avant, my documentary, where I'm like, call the ACLU, the feds are after me. I look like I'm on meth, that's what I look like. I'm on crystal meth or crack or something. Super sucked up, and I'm just spewing out psychosis with a big ego. It's the worst combination of shit you could ever imagine ever. And so I have this video of like Jeff filming me. Now he had the foresight, I think, like throughout my life, where he's like, I should film you right now. This is interesting. This will be of value. Like there's something I posted on Patreon recently where I was eating breakfast. I didn't know he's filming me. Weirdo. I'm just like eating cereal. This is how the video starts. Eating cereal. I'm talking to him about something, about like, oh, we should put some of these guys in the documentary. I'm talking about some of my prison friends. And then somebody calls me for Suboxone. They wanted to buy some. He filmed the whole thing. And yes, on the surface, it's not that interesting of footage, but I will say I have a lot of stuff that just paints a very accurate, intimate portrait of who I am, what I was doing at the time. That one in particular, if you've seen it, I think you'd agree with that. And I have so much stuff like that. I just posted my camcorder footage of me in high school from like the juvenile delinquency period. It's like an hour of just crazy, weird footage from when I was in high school, me snorting blow off, bottom of skateboard decks, shit like that. My whole life's kind of been like that. And Jeff always had the foresight to know that maybe we could use the footage. And this particular night when I had the walking pneumonia and when I think I was having ink poisoning because I was feeling so shitty, Jeff started recording. And like, these clips are so sleazy. I'm just like, I'm sick. It's because of my prison PTSD. I was blaming everything on that. I was running on that. That was like my campaign. I was like, I'm going to get public support behind me because I have PTSD and I am fucked up. I should get my septum pierced. Get a bull fucking piercing. What do you think? Bleach my hair. You know, everyone's like, why? Prison did that to me. I do have prison PTSD, and it has affected me. The third term affected me worse than anything. I am so paranoid now. Not saying I wasn't before, but I am so paranoid now. And I've talked about it before. The reason you get so paranoid in prison is because the very people that you hang out with that are your brothers, like, hey, brother, let's go beat up a black guy. You're like, yeah, you're cool. Then afterwards, we'll get a tattoo with soot. You'll look like you work at a carnival in 4 years. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. And you think these are the coolest guys in the world. And then you get out and you know the type. It's people that, I hate to say it, but like the vast majority of dudes I've done time with, when I get out, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I used to hang out with that guy. I can't believe I lived with him in an 8x10 cell. I can't believe I used to masturbate while that dude was sleeping. You know, the kind of guys that you live with in prison in a little 8x10 cell are one of two people if they get you masturbating. One, they will literally strangle you because you're a creep. I mean, it's a strangleable offense. Jerking off in a bunk bed. I've literally, it's been like shaking and like someone's kicked the bed and be like, hey, stop masturbating up there. It's like 4 a.m. I'm like, oh, I was like, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about. And then you do, when you come, you cough. And like, I've been called out on that. Like, dude, the bed shakes. You cough when you cough. You think you're the only person that's ever thought of that? Because you don't want to like moan. You don't want to be like jerking off. Like your breathing's already weird. If someone's really listening, they can hear it. And then right when you come, so you go, and then like I would play dead right afterwards, which is weird. I mean, you know, who does that? You know when dogs play dead, they just like roll over. It's like what I would do after I nutted. Like, oh. So there's two kinds of people. They either strangle you because you're a fucking weirdo. Then the second kind of guy, they'll be like, dude, can I jerk you off? I know what you're doing. I just want to do it too for you. And that's it. There's no other kind of guys in prison. They might tell you differently, but there's not. Now, what would I do? Well, I guess I'm the third kind of guy. If I caught a celly jerking off, I wouldn't care because that would be hypocritical. I'd probably just start listening to music. I wouldn't watch or anything. I'd just listen to music, and I don't know, maybe if it was the right song, I'd beat off too. I don't know. Who knows? I've never been in that. I've never caught someone jerking off. That'd be fucking weird, I think. I don't know where I was going with that. There was a point. I don't know. I did have prison PTSD, you know? It made me angrier and it made me have separation anxiety. And then you get out of prison and you got to think about it. You've been berated the whole time. They've been telling you what a scumbag you are. So you think you're a scumbag, you know? My self-deprecating humor where I'm like, I'm a bitch. I have a small dick. I'm fucking weird. That's like how I really feel, you know? I make a joke out of it because I don't care. You know, it's kind of like, well, fuck, I mean, I'm going to embrace it. I'm not going to hide. I mean, there's people like that try to hide. They're like, no, I'm not. Convict? No. But then they got like the 3 dots under their eye or like on their right here. You know, right there. The 3 dot place. Well, I've never done time. I don't know, man. It's just freckles. And you know that they're a convict. That, you know, there's just people that are embarrassed about that. Not everyone's going to embrace it. Not everyone's an open book. You know, especially for the kind of shit I've been arrested for. I'm a pimp and a drug dealer. How the fuck how do you explain that? Drug dealer, you can explain. Well, I was on drugs and I had to sell them to support my habit. And that's the truth. A pimp? That's a weird charge because, you know, like rappers are like, what up, pimp? You know, it's like kind of like celebrated in certain cultures. And there's a lot of people. I mean, man, you pimp, you sound like a scumbag. You know, I don't even think I did that. I mean, I don't even think I should have gone to jail for that. But as soon as I started the nonprofit effort, as soon as I thought of the event, and as soon as I had the idea to get public opinion behind me, I had to embrace this kind of exaggerated caricature of somebody that was fucked up. You know, just do weird shit. You know, just like yell. Ah! Ah! People are like, "What's up with your friend?" "Oh, he's been to prison." Oh my god. Do you want me to donate to your nonprofit? Please. Thank you. And that was kind of my strategy. Of course, I'm joking, but like for real, I was acting the amount of stress that I was going through, and as strange as I was acting, I had to blame it on something. Now, I think it was the impending doom of going there, but I just started saying, "Oh, prison did this to me. It made me fucking crazy. You can't send me back. I'll be even crazier." And my ego was huge at the same time too, so it was just a weird thing. And so when I had gone to the hospital and I had said that I couldn't stay there because I had walking pneumonia, they discharged me AMA, but I made sure. I said, "Whoa, I'll leave AMA, but can you write me like a piece of paper that says that I have pneumonia?" Because in my head, I was thinking, okay, I can get bed rest, and then I don't have to go get drug tests anymore. I can start smoking weed and not have to worry about it. Because now at this point in the game, I was waking up, I was on the color code. So the numbers are, or the colors are yellow, green, red. I was red. I was like, oh man, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. I had liquid pee. Sometimes I had powder pee, and you could mix up. Everyone's like, I've never heard of that. I used to have it. I don't know where I got it. And then liquid pee. It came in this little like, plastic flask looking thing, but you could boil it. Karina would boil it at Jeff's apartment like 5 a.m. His condo at like 5 a.m. Get it boiling hot, and then we'd get a hand warmer, get those at like sporting goods stores, and we would rubber band that around the plastic bottle full of pee. Put it in my pocket. It's all women that work there, so they couldn't do supervised tests. In fact, I think that place is probably illegal. I don't see how you can get federal funding when you can't offer supervised testing because it's all women. They can't look at your dick. You can't do that. I've had Suboxone doctors where the nurses do that. Where like 3 nurses do it. They're like, yeah, all 3 of us have to look at your cock. I'm like, that's normal? Like, oh, yeah. And you know how I am. I just drop the shit down to my toes. And you know how some people like cup their dick? I would just cut my balls, let the little dick hang over the hand, just to be unique. So that's what like my whole thing was. And it was a hassle because I'd have to go to the head shop, I'd have to get the pee, and then I'd have to get the hand warmer, and I'd have to put it around there with the rubber band. Then I'd go there and be like, oh yeah, going to pee. And I would just dump it in there and be like, there you go. Then I could smoke pot. Still a hassle though, because it's stressful situations. You have to go before the head shop closes. It closes at 8 o'clock. Sometimes you're like, I'm a procrastinator, so I wait till the last minute. We'd have to race to the car. We'd barely make it. Sometimes we'd miss. Sometimes, I'd have to have other people pee for me. It just depended on what the situation was. And all my friends smoke weed. Karina could smoke, could drink, could smoke, could drink, could pee for me. And sometimes she did. But that's scary because if they send it to a lab, they can differentiate between a male and female in the urine. So I was thinking that I could use the pneumonia situation to get out of testing. The hospital wouldn't do it. This is the same hospital that had given me Percocet, and then they had federal probation department, U.S. probation, being like, "Hi, this is U.S. probation. We need to know if Mr. Leone was, prescribed Percocet." And they're like, "Well, sir, we can't tell you." And then they like make me sign release stuff, but still they would call, even though they knew that they wouldn't tell them because of the HIPAA laws or medical laws, whatever. They did it just to like let them know, like, you're an accessory to a dope fiend. And they already knew that. And I'm like sitting there like crying, like, I'm an activist. I am doing an event with Danny Trejo in Immortal Technique. They're like, who's Immortal Technique? I was like, he's an activist too. Way out shit. So I got discharged AMA. No note. But what I did is I went to my Suboxone doctor. He's cool. And I explained to him that I needed to be on bed rest, but that I couldn't be because I had stuff I had to do. But that I was on federal probation and they were really fucking with me, having me go all the way to Ventura, which is like 30 minutes south, having me get up at 5 in the morning and pee. So he wrote me a bed rest thing. I mean, he's like, you should really stay here. You should really stay at home and sit in bed. So then I called Josh. I was like, hey, Josh, I can't test for you anymore. He's like, what do you mean by that, Leone? I was like, I can't test anymore. I got walking pneumonia. I got walking pneumonia. You know, I was like taunting him. I mean, I'm sure that's how he heard it. He's like, you need to fax that to me. I'm like, fax it to you? It's 2017. What do you mean fax? Who does that? You want me to send you Morse code? You know, have my doctor, you know, I don't know, send you smoke signals or something? Wanted me to fax it. I was like, how about I take a picture and send it to you on my phone? Text it to you, weirdo. It's like, fine. Hang up. So I sent it to him. So technically, I'm on bed rest. So Tony and I end up getting in a big fight. Big time fight. I don't know if I talked about it in the last video. We are super tight again. Talked to him today, and I also talked to him yesterday. We've been talking the last few days, and we're back to working together, doing stuff together. And I don't want to say what. I always jinx projects when I do that, but I love working with that guy. I guess my favorite writer that's living. And it's just an honor to be able to collaborate with him. We make a good team. I love his sense of humor. He's the shit. He was in Brian Jonestown Massacre. That's a badass band. But him and I had gotten in like a nasty falling out. And basically, like at the time, I really thought that I was right. You know, I was like, okay. So when we did the article for Penthouse, the guy Tyler had come up to Santa Barbara. We did one shoot at Venice Beach, and we did the other shoot in. I was thinking if I have it, I could show you what I'm talking about. Whatever. I don't know where it is, but we did one of the shoots in Santa Barbara. So he came up and basically, like, I'm such a lame. I'm like, let's throw a bunch of pot on the table and I'll just be shirtless. Everything was shirtless. The entire fucking photo spread, I'm shirtless. Where is it? Where is it? Bugging me. Where'd it go? I know where it is. It's up in that drawer. Never mind. It's not that important. You guys have seen it. I always brag. I'm like, look how cool this is. It was like 3 years ago. It's not that cool anymore. But like, you know, we would have like contrived settings and whatever and like strategically place things. And one thing that I wanted to do is I'm going to show you guys. I have to. It's bugging me. Okay, I'm back. So, oh shit, there's like a lot of nudity. Oh, the back of the magazine, there's always a tranny right here. I don't know. I've never been on meth. All right. Where is it? Oh yeah. My dad put these little yellow markers so I could like go. Okay. This one in particular. Okay. So see the spread. So we're at Jeff's house. There's me without my shirt on. I wasn't joking. On every picture, like literally every picture. Like, look at that. Look how fucking. Can you just make me look hot and tan? But in this picture in particular, this is what I'm talking about. So right there is Tony's book, Sick City. There's me. I'm holding weed. There's Jeff. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's sticking a shampoo bottle up his ass or something. And here's Sick City, Tony's book. Now, remember, at the time, we had been working on Hannah and on anti-heroes. So I thought it would be cool if I did a spread. And I put Tony's best book, in my opinion, Sick City. Like almost like a little cult shout out, you know, like years later. This is how narcissist. I'm like, we'll blow up. And then we'll be like, oh, look, Sick City was in that picture. You know, I don't know. I was thinking it'd be cool to do that. So when I'm fighting with Tony, we're fighting, and basically I'm like, after all I've done for you. And he's like, Tony's cool. He's like, what'd you do for me? What'd you do for me? I think at this point we're on email. I think we're on text. I was like, well, what did I do for you? I had to like think about it. I was like, I put Six City in the spread and Penthouse. That's what I did for you. Don't be ungrateful. He's like, that's what you've done for me? You put a book that I wrote fucking 9 years ago on the table when you took a picture for a magazine? I was like, yeah, you're ungrateful. And so he's writing me back. And like by the end of it, I'm like, you know what? I have pneumonia. I'm going to die. I'm on my way to the hospital right now. And if I do die, it's your fault, Tony. You're the reason I'm dead because you don't appreciate me putting Six City in Penthouse. Blood is on your hands, Tony. He's like, okay, weirdo. That was on an email, though. And I don't know. Maybe I can find the email, but, it was like something pretty similar to that. Almost verbatim. That's the kind of shit that I was talking. So as you can see, I'm like getting delusional. I'm thinking because I did that. That's why I showed you that. That little teeny fucking book right there. I'm like, you owe me. The whole world has seen. He's like, who's reading Penthouse? Dudes that live at sober living? Horny teenagers that are at boarding schools? Closet lesbians? I personally, I love Penthouse. I like the articles. I really do. I think that magazines like that always have badass articles. Hustler has good articles. Penthouse, Playboy, they all have good articles. But, print magazines aren't what they used to be. I like them. I don't know. It's nostalgic. If you ever jerk off to print porn magazines, I know it sounds weird, but it almost feels like you're in a time machine and you're jerking off in like the 90s. Especially you listen to like Smash Mouth while you're doing it. You're just like, yeah, I'm an all-star. So that's like what our falling out was about. And that's just like one of many weird falling outs that I had. And all of this stuff started having a cumulative effect. So I'm getting really cocky with Josh now. He's getting mad. And basically at this point, I've started to record every call. And I've probably done like 5 magazine spreads at this point, including the local newspaper and some other stuff. So newspapers and magazines. One of them said how an ex-con kicked heroin and became an international drug, sex, and literary icon. That's what the headline was. I was like, I knew I was an international icon. Just like, I was getting way too weird, right? That one was Gonzo Today. Google that. International drug, literary, and sex icon. Sex icon. That's, I like suggested. I'm like, can we put this? And they're like, we can. I was like, cool. So I started getting really cocky with Josh, like to the point where I was like calling him and I'm like, I'm recording this call. I'm going to post it to the ACLU. I have a following. I had like 1,000 followers on Instagram. I was like, well, all 1,000 of my following is going to fucking hate you. Like 700 of them are like people I went to high school with. You know what I mean? So it got to a point where he didn't want to deal with me anymore. So he had me dealing with Brandon. Brandon is a supervisor. And Brandon would like call me and he'd be like, we're on to you. What does that mean? He's like, we know that you're not on bed rest. We know that you don't have pneumonia. You're going down. I felt like I was on like an episode of 21 Jump Street. It was like to that effect. It's like, I don't know. It just felt like some fucking horrible dialogue in like some shitty like 1980s movie or like some show like that, where I'm like, you'll never get me alive, copper. Like hang up on him, shit like that. So I had all this stuff going on. I had this falling out with Tony. Jerry and I had the falling out over the blow thing. I'm trying to do this event, and it gets to the point where I have to pay Trejo and I have to pay Immortal Technique. Immortal Technique's the first one I have a falling out with. Now remember, it's like December 12th. You know, the event's supposed to be December 2nd, something like that. And I have to like print the flyers the next day. So now it's time to pay Immortal Technique so we can put them on the flyers. We have to pay the deposit. The deposit's like $10,000. So I call this guy at Viper Records, this record company. They're in New York. And I go, all right, I'm ready to pay the deposit. Now, I had my mom telling me I could pay with the credit card because Max had paid the deposit for the venue. Now remember, Zach had called Max and been like, he's on drugs. He's out of his mind. He's a dope. You're working with an active dope fiend. Or maybe it was Max that said that to Zach. I don't know. They were both like talking shit about me at this point because everybody thought I was out of my mind. I was also losing a lot of weight. I was working out like hard. I was working out hard, you know. I was doing like, I don't know, 800,000 push-ups a day. Like in prison, that's like what people normally do. But like I'm doing it out here, and I'm also eating well, and I'm like just living off protein shakes and just working out, and I'm probably walking like 6 to 10 miles a day with Jeff. You know, and that's why him and I were both super. We both had six packs. We were both in really good shape at the time. Um, and I started taking fighting lessons. That's another thing. I started taking fighting lessons with my boy Robbie. It's like one of the best fighters I know. You know, at a time he was like number 2 in California UFC ranking. I'll put him and I as the cover for this photo because this is just a ridiculous time. So I was like in good shape. He was teaching me how to fight, and what was I saying? So Immortal Technique. So like, you know, so I'm really like losing a lot of weight. I have a six pack, but it's like unhealthy, you know? I look like Gia, like some heroin addict that has AIDS. I'm like, photograph me. Do you want me to look seductive? And like even like the people around me are like, dude, you look like shit. Like Trina would be like, you look like you're on drugs. It's like, she didn't even talk like that normally. She's like, you look like shit. And I had like raccoon eyes because I wasn't sleeping. I'm sleeping like 2 hours a night. I'm in workaholic mode, kind of like I am right now, but I don't have the impending doom of prison, so I wasn't going nuts, right? And I was living like off nothing but protein shakes, like muscle milk at the store and like organic food. And that was like it, and hardly eating, maybe like one meal a day and working out hard. And then like 800, I don't know, to 1,000, something like that, push-ups a day. And I was walking sometimes 10 miles in a day just to walk. I pace all day, every day on the phone anyway. So I'm walking. My caloric deficit was probably insane at the time. And that's why I was so cut up and skinny. So when I get on the phone with Immortal Techniques company, my mom had told me I could use her credit card to pay the deposit because I was doing better, you know. Even though my ego, well, you know, she used to get mad at me. She'd hear me on the phone. I'd be like, well, you know, we might have to do some bridge financing. I don't know. I'm thinking about just doing a credit swap. I'll be an executive producer on that. Maybe you hit me on 3 properties, homeboy. You know, and my mom was like, what do you think? You're some big shot now? I was just like, I was playing a part. You know, I didn't even know what I was talking about. I don't even know what a fucking property was at the time. I'm like seriously, I was calling real estate agents and having them show me like $1 million homes and being like, I'll consider it. I don't know why I was doing that. I think it was like, I know I'll make the money. Dude, I didn't even have enough to pay for my attorney. I was definitely going to prison. So when I called Mike, which was the guy from Viper Records, I said, okay, I got the deposit. How do I send it to you? I got this credit card. He goes, oh no, we don't take credit card. I was like, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you take credit card? He's like, we take bank wire. You have to do a transfer. I was like, you can't do that with a credit card? He said, no, it's got to be cash. Now, my mom had that on a credit card, and I'm sure she had liquid cash like that, but she wasn't going to give me that. She was like, yeah, you can do the credit card and you can pay me back like over the course and just pay the minimums or whatever. Because I was like, Mom, as soon as we get the tickets, I'm going to pay you back. This is an IOU. This is just as good as cash. And my mom was with it because my mom's cool and she has my back like that. But he wouldn't take it. And so I started getting really nasty with him. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? I'm trying to give you a credit card for $10,000. Why won't you take it? He's like, that's just not how we do it in the industry. You have to give us a wire deposit. You have to do cash, wire transfer. That's what you do, not credit card. Sorry. That was really good. The link's in the description. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I don't know why I just did that. I think because I'm getting back into mental breakdown phase. So I got in this huge fight with him. I was like, "You're a piece of shit." So now I'm calling people like Jim Oles, you know, who's definitely got money like that. And I'm like, "Jim, I need you to give me 10 grand." He's like, "I'm not sorry, Ryan. I don't know. I don't know. What's it for?" It's like, "So I can get Immortal Technique." Jim's like in his 50s. Like, I was like, "Have you heard of him?" But Jim's cool. Jim, you know, writes movies for David Fincher. He knows what's up. But he wasn't going to give me 10 grand because he didn't think I could pull the event off. And he told me that. He's like, if this was like an event that was like 6 months down the road, maybe, but I don't think you can do it. And Jim's one person I've never yelled at. Even in all of this destruction, I never did that. So then I called Max. I was like, "Max, I need 10 grand." He's like, "Dude, I've already given you all this for the deposit. What do you need that for?" I was like, "For Immortal Technique, we're not going to get him." He's like, "Well, then we don't get him." And I got mad at him. I called everybody. Nobody would do it. So I like end up leaving a message for Viper Records, and I basically chew them out. I was like, "Do you know who I am? I was part of the Mendoza cartel. Let me tell you a little bit about myself." Started going into this like whole like spiel about how I'm like in a cartel and just saying weird shit, like like half of it was like oblique threats. And the other half was like feel bad for me because I'm some J-cat because I've prison just fucked my head up. Needless to say that, yeah, they officially were like, "Yeah, we're not doing it. Sorry, you don't have the deposit. We're not doing it." Well, this really made a bad issue for us because we didn't have a music act. I mean, how are you going to fill up? In my head, I had come up with we were going to make $100,000. Someone was like, if there's 800, how would you make 100,000? I'm like, dude, they were, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I couldn't have made 100,000, but where I got that figure was because it was tiered. Like you could get tickets for 2,500. You could get tickets for 1,000. What were they? You do $75, $200, $250, $500, and 1,000. There was no 2,500. So, and then with the merchandise, I figured that that's what I could make. So now I had to figure out a band, because I had to get the flyers made. And, Max was like, "You know what, man? Like, they're just going to give us a refund. Maybe I can just take, we can just apply it and we can do an event down the line." Now, the reason that there was such urgency for me was because December 5th is when I had my next court date. The way that I was antagonizing Brandon, the probation supervisor, and Josh, that worked below him, the way that I was telling my therapist about walrus cum spewing out and all that stuff, there was a good chance that I was going back to jail. Especially like they knew that I wasn't on bed rest, and they kept accusing me over the phone. "We know you don't live with your parents." Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. "And we know about Milwaukee, too." I'm like, what? Milwaukee? What are you talking about? "We know what you did last summer." I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" They really did say weird shit like that all the time. I think they knew that I was like in some state of psychosis, so I think they just were like messing with me, but they would say like really weird stuff to me. Like, "Yeah, well, have you ever heard of a guy named Eric?" I think they would just say random names like that. I'd be like, "No, Eric who?" "Eric, the guy with the pot." And I think they were just trying to like get me to be like, "Oh my God, the guy that has like 100 pounds in his basement," like throwing out random names just to fish at me or something. I don't know why. They were just like messing with my head, and with everything else going on, it's really started driving me crazy. And so I called Josh, even though Brandon was the one that was like kind of dealing with me directly, he was like way more hardcore. I'm talking about, he was the stepdad, the ugly stepdad. Was pussy whipped. His kids hate him. "I hate you, Dad. Everybody's parents say you're a bitch." There's kids like that with stepdad. But I knew Josh, he's kind of like a rookie, so I knew I could kind of get over on him more. And I called him and I was like, well, can I get my medical marijuana recommendation? Because that's what my psychiatrist is telling me, which wasn't true, but I was just kind of going with that. He goes, you're not allowed to, or no, he goes, well, if you have a recommendation, I don't see why you can't. That's how new he was. Marijuana is a federally scheduled one narcotic. It doesn't matter that it's legal recreationally. I can go and call any, I can get on weed maps right now and have weed delivered to me in like an hour, 30 minutes. Get in my car and go to a recreational dispensary. All you need is a driver's license to get it. And it's like that in a lot of places now. And it's like top grade weed. He's like, yeah, if you get a recommendation, you can get it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay. So I called him back like a few days later. I was like, okay, I got my recommendation. Like, okay. Then he calls me back and he goes, Ryan, I talked with Brandon, and actually you can't smoke. You can't use marijuana because it's a federally scheduled one narcotic. And I already knew that, but I was like, well, you told me that I could. Now at this point, I'm recording all my calls because I'm starting to get really paranoid, especially because they're saying stuff like, hey, do you know a guy named Chad? He goes by the street name of Snake. And I'm like, is he from Milwaukee? Perhaps. Shit like that. And it was just like weird me out. And normally I would just laugh at that, but because I was starting to slide into psychosis, I started getting really like worried. I was like, oh my God, like, what if there is a guy named Snake? What if he's saying stuff about me? What have I done in Milwaukee? Chad, Chad, Chad. What does that mean? And I was trying to figure it out. And I would try to tell Karina, and Karina's just like, dude, you're so way out. Cancel the event. This is, it's not going to go down. So I had him on a recorded call and he's telling me I can't smoke weed. And then if I do, I'm going to get violated. I was like, well, I already did. He's like, well, then you're going to get violated. I have it recorded. I'm like, but Josh, you told me that I could. You're my PO and you told me that I could smoke. And now I smoked. And now you're saying that I can't. And then I'm going to get violated because you told me I could. How is that legal? He's like, I don't know. But I have it on tape, right? But you can't record a call and use it against someone legally in the state of California because of telecommunication laws. But I still had it on tape, and it was like, I felt like, well, if I get violated for this, I'm going to put him on blast. I mean, this is bullshit. He literally told me that I could, just like the time the therapist, and I put the therapist phone call on Patreon, and I have all my phone calls. I have like hundreds of MP3s that were converted from this period. And I think I'll probably take select ones and put them on Patreon because they're pretty interesting to hear me when I'm in full-blown psychosis. And this is when it was all starting. So he tells me that I'm going to get violated now because I smoked weed. I'm pissed. I was like, do you know who I am? I can make one call at this point. I can get the governor to come to your office and kick your ass, Josh. That's how famous I am now. And he's just like, okay. And like, he'd hang up on me. So now I think I'm going to get violated. Now Immortal Technique's not playing. I'm getting like into it with Danny Trejo's like manager, and Dave is the one that, remember Dave? China called. He's the one that hooked up Trejo. And the whole deal was that I'd give him like $500 if he could get Trejo. So now this guy is Steve, the other guy, like, hey man, that's just burnout stoner. He's calling me, he's like, hey man, Dave's just wondering if you have that Skrilla, dude, you're like 60. Don't say shit like that, Skrilla. Oh, I was hoping maybe you had that Gouda, Nah. I was like, I don't, dude. He's like, well, Dave's going to get kicked out, man. And like you said that, you'd give him that guap. You said you could do a guap job, man. I was like, what? A month ago, you were hooking me up with this guy because you said he was like one of the best agents you've ever met. And now I have to give him his rent. Rent depends on $500 fucking dollars, Steve. I said, you guys are both frauds. Fuck you. Another falling out. I don't think I was that nice yet. I think I said some crazy shit, but I don't know. It's hard to remember all this period. So, then I get a call from Josh again. He goes, okay, we're not going to violate you if you can show us your marijuana recommendation. I was like, that's not a problem. I can for sure do that, Jeff. No problem. He's like, okay, cool. Just email it to me. I was like, okay, all right, I will. I just got to find it. It's in a stack of papers. So I'm like at Jeff's house. It's a normal day. I'm renting a room from him. And there's a doctor that'll backdate it that I know. He's in Santa Barbara. And at the time, he was doing medical marijuana recommendations. I'm not going to say his name. But I called him and I told him the situation. He said, yeah, come in at the office and I'll backdate a rec for you so you don't get in trouble. Because I was like, I'll go to prison if you don't do this. He's like, yeah, no problem. I got you. Someone I've known for years. So I was planning on going there after I went out to lunch with Karina. I took her out to lunch. We went to this place that we like. We're in the middle of eating. We just ordered our food. And I get a call from Brandon. He goes, where are you? I'm like, I'm going to the doctor's right now. Got an appointment, which I did. But it was to go get the rec so that I didn't get violated. And he goes, where are you really? I said, I'm at the doctor's because I have an appointment right now for my pneumonia. Because he's like, well, I thought you were on bed rest. He's like, give me the address of the doctor's. I'll be right there. I was like, okay, I'll call you right back and give you the address. I hang up the phone. I'm like, come on, we got to go. We just got our food. And Karina's like, what? And I was like, come on. And I like grabbed her hand and I like made a scene. It was like being in a movie. I like grabbed the, dish and threw it like a Frisbee. And I was like, thought I was like a secret agent, like trying to not go to jail for my federal probation officer. And I just ran out. I seriously did that. I like threw my plate. I was like, come on. But that wasn't necessary. Why don't we just take the food, you weirdo? I was like, come on, come on. I'm like, dive into my car. In my mind, there's like explosions in the background. I feel like I'm in like some fucking Die Hard sequel. I'm like, come on. We're gonna get away with this. I get in my car and I didn't remember. My dad had rented me a minivan at the time. I'm in this minivan. I'm just flooring it to the doctor's office. I get there. I wasn't that far away from there. I get there. I'm like all out of breath. Dude's already there. I'd give him the address on the way there. I was like, okay. And I like Googled it. I was like, okay, this is the address. This is where I am. I guess he was closer to it than we were. So he's parked there when we roll up. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to know I was full of shit. They were already trying to get me, especially with like the antagonistic stuff that I was saying over the phone. Like, I will call the governor. I will do this. I will do that. Just saying really weird stuff because my ego is so inflated. And I go park and I come out and he said, I thought you were already here. I said, yeah, we were looking for parking. Duh. He's like, what's up, man? Where are you living? I said, I'm living with my parents. Now, my parents had told me that they'd always cover for me, no matter what. Like, no matter what, if they ask, you live here. We're not going to let you go to jail. I'm like, all right, cool. I hadn't lived there for a long time. So he said, I don't think you're living there anymore. That's what I think. I think you're full of shit. And I said, well, I am, Josh. Or Brandon. He goes, nah. Every time we come to do a house call, you're not there. You're at the farmer's market. You're on heroin. I'm like, I'm not on heroin. Josh said that too. You guys test me. I get clean tests. I'm like, yeah, Ryan, but you're one of those guys that gets clever on us. We know. We weren't born yesterday. And I'm telling him, Josh, I'm on bed rest. I have every right to be on bed rest. I have pneumonia. And we get in this huge fight and I start like crying. Now, of course, I'm like, trying to sound, I'm like, why are you doing this to me? I have mental health problems because of prison. I owe Southsiders money. No, I didn't say that. I have this video too on Patreon because I started recording it. And he says at one point, I don't like your energy. In fact, I feel threatened. And if I feel threatened again, I'm going to take the gun out of my holster and I'm going to put a fucking hole in your brain. I was like, what? He's like, you need to test for me right now. And I was like, okay, where? You want me to just whip my dick out right here in the middle of the street? I mean, he just told me that he was going to shoot me because he was scared of me. I mean, it's like 11 in the morning on some crowded street, like on some commercial street. Like, You're scared of, why are you scared of me? I'm wearing like flip flops and board shorts. I was like, I have pneumonia. And he's like, you don't have pneumonia. You need to go in this, Del Taco bathroom and you need to pee for me. I'm violating your ass right now. And Karina's just kind of looking at me. I mean, I was getting so crazy at that point. I don't even know if she knew what to think. And we will get into what, I mean, we're getting close now. We're like a couple weeks in the timeline before I go back to prison for the third time. I know you don't like the breakdown series as much, but let's get through it and then we'll get into the third prison term. And then for all you people that are like, you're just stretching your content out. No, I have a bunch of stuff. I have a bunch of stuff on Patreon. I have 3 different storylines going on there right now, that's not going on here. No, 2. So with this one, 3 altogether. So check it out. Go look, see if it's something you want. Patreon.com/Ryan Leone. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Fuck bitches, get money. And stay safe, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Palabra.